Welcome to Capture the Reps podcast, the podcast for fitness creatives by fitness creatives. Each episode, we will dive into techniques, strategies, and behind-the-scenes stories to help fast-track your career. Whether you're behind the camera or in front of it, this is the space to grow, create, and connect. Hit it, Sam. And we're rolling. Yeah. Welcome to Capture the Reps podcast. I'm here with Aaron, sitting right over there.
What's up, guys?
Good guys.
Today, we're all about nutrition while at fitness competitions. Mm-hmm. Also, Chris is here. Sorry.
Hey, guys.
Hey. Aaron.
Yes.
For those that don't know, give us a little bit of background. And if you want to put in any disclaimers or anything like that, because I know you're going to be giving information here that is a very generalized, way of doing it. But go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on the podcast.
You're welcome.
I haven't made it yet, but once this airs, I'm going to be very excited to see this. But I'm dietitian, registered dietitian. Been a dietitian now for about 5 years. Started my career off in the ICU in the critical care. 3 years in, got burnt out. Did role reversal, went to CrossFit coaching full time for a year, and now for the last year and a half, I've been working with individuals on a different platform, but one-on-one FaceTimes and Zoom calls, and I've been really excelling with that and just helping people, one journey at a time with nutrition advice. I work with people with sports performance, weight loss, diabetes management, GLP-1 medications and everything. So I got a wide range of athletes to work with and just regular people looking to lose weight and get fitter.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and important to note, everything we talk about here, take with a grain of salt, right?
Yes, no pun intended on the electrolytes, but yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Very general, very broad, and but at the same time, it's going to be more, I would say, mindset in making sure we have time. And, a lot of the nutrition is also really just, because nutrition isn't like that hard. It's like elementary math, basically. It's really strategizing and having that mindset for nutrition. So again, if you know what macros are, if you know what protein is for the most part, healthy fats, you'll have a pretty good understanding. It's like, how do you implement what we talk about today, and maybe we'll talk about how to do that as a game plan moving forward for that.
Cool. Let's start at the beginning. Let's just break down, the different type. Nice product placement. You see that? Label out and everything. My goodness.
We're going to talk about that, but this is structured right there. Ahead right there. Your audience. Yeah.
So let's break it down. So
yeah.
You know what? Actually, I think this would be a good, let's take me on as a client of yours. You call them clients, right?
Kind of have before, but yes, let's do that, okay?
Failed miserably.
Yeah.
Didn't listen. Hard to work with.
Hey, wedding is in 29 days.
That is actually a good point, JT, because a lot of what I planned for before this came down thinking about you.
Oh, okay.
In the most non-romantic way, but I was like, hey, I see him work all the time. He's working his butt off. He's sweating a lot, and he's just like an animal out there. So I feel like if the creatives out there, is that the word, creatives?
Yeah, you can use creatives.
Okay. If creatives are anything like you, they're working hard. They're busting their butt. And I think nutrition, hydration, and everything we talk about today is going to be applicable because, that's obviously you want to do the best at your job, right?
Yeah.
So you should see how Canon guys work if you think Sony guys work hard.
Okay, well, he's just mad because we've dissed Canon a lot, and now he's getting his revenge by putting that statement in, and we're going to let him have that. Okay. We're going to let him have that moment.
Do I look mad?
Cole,
Sam?
Are you Canon or a Sharp guy? What was the other? Sony. Canon or Sony?
He doesn't even know. Nobody even knows.
Sharp?
Yeah, honestly.
Don't they make TVs?
Sharp Aqueous?
Get your sharp self out of here.
Are you an Apple or Google iPhone? Or damn, that's also not the thing. Damn.
Anywho,
good thing we're going to talk about nutrition. Let's say
all right.
that.
All right. So
yeah, I'm taking JT on as a client. Okay, and first thing I would say is it a multi-day event or one-off? Because you can probably
let's do it. Let's do it for Desert City. It's coming up. That would be an easy one for us. Yeah.
I was hoping. Excellent. Okay.
We are giving Desert City so much publicity. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's
almost like they should hire us or something.
Yeah. That's wild. So wild.
Good one-liners back there.
Yeah.
Okay. So starting Thursday. So we have Thursday is kind of like a half day. Then all day Friday, all day Saturday.
Yeah.
Basically all day Sunday. Yeah.
So 3-4 day event, perfect. Okay. And the way I was talking about this before we came in here, you almost have to treat yourself like an athlete. All right. Because, you can kind of get away with it for a day or two, but if you're over a 4-day stretch or 3-day stretch, like it's going to catch up to you. And you guys are already stretched thin with, sleep deprivation, dehydration as well. And if you don't take that seriously, like you would be competing, you're going to be struggling on day 2, day 3.
Right.
And for you, it could be missing a shot. It could be, hey, like I kind of was out of focus or something like that.
Sure.
Right. So you really got to approach it like you would a competition or tournament. So that would be number one, working on your mindset. Okay. Because there's going to be times when, especially over a long weekend, where you're like, hey, shoot, man, like I'm just so gassed. I just want to get Panda Express or something really quick and easy, right?
That was a direct shot at Chris.
5,118 points on my Panda app right now, baby.
And to your point with that, I think about like, oh, I forgot to switch out my batteries. Oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I forgot to do that. So that's exactly what you're indicating there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good point. Like I would say mental errors affect your performance, and mental errors come from not being fueled properly, being dehydrated. So it's like a cumulative effect, not to mention like we talked about sleep and everything else, the holistic picture, which again is just very general, broad advice, but all comes down to giving your best performance, and it comes from paying attention to the small details. Like for instance, I would say when you went to the coastal ones, either Miami or California, you guys are outdoors, right? Mm-hmm. Outdoors, sweating a lot, and just like burning through t-shirts, not literally, but just like sweating hard. So like hydration going to be huge. Okay. Hydration before, after, and during. Okay. It's not just, hey, I'm going to drink an electrolyte packet of 500 milligrams of sodium and be good. No, you need like 100 ounces plus, 3 liters almost in a day. And it's tough. It's tough because you can't go to the bathroom sometimes. You got to hold it in. But at the same time, like, again, you have to be planning ahead. Like I was thinking like, oh, maybe if you had like a water satchel or like a Camelback on your back throughout the day.
What hikers do almost?
Yeah, hikers do.
That's
exactly.
pretty smart.
It's something like that because like, again, electrolytes are important, but one can or, one thing of electrolyte replacement isn't going to replace the massive amounts of losses you have in a day. So you need something convenient, hands-free, and something like you can kind of have on all day. But that again, that's more outdoors, right? Where it's going to be more important.
So you mentioned like, all right, so the day before, like, does it start the day before? Does it start 2 days before? Is it while you're on the plane?
Good question. I would say.
Thank you. Good question.
Another one. Yeah, he's rolling today. Hydration's very general. I would say important all year round. But again, if you're going to an event outdoors, I would say a day or two beforehand. Okay. Again, 1 day event, you could probably get away with being a little dehydrated. But if you're going to be in DC or in Phoenix, which is DC, and it's going to be indoors, you probably don't need to hydrate the day before, but the day of for sure. But at the same time, one of those things that I was going to bring up today was you guys are so busy throughout the day. It's going to be like you have to start and end your day with a really good, solid, well-balanced meal. That's sometimes the only meals you get to eat in a day. And then you're eating, protein bars, protein drinks.
You're literally, I mean, I'll speak for myself personally, because that's the only thing we can really do is like, whatever's around me is like so like if there is a booth, like I will grab the protein bar that they're handing out for free. If there is a energy drink 100%. That they are handing out, I will drink that. Like that is all of that. Before we get into that though, let's focus strictly on hydration. So
yeah, I like that.
Hydration, it starts the day before. Yeah. Is there a certain goal amount, a certain thing that you want to see whenever you're using the bathroom, like a certain color of urination? Like how do you look at all that?
You're taking the words right out of my mouth, JT. It's like you know this already. But yeah, I would say the best indicator is urine frequency and color. All right. So if dark yellow once a day, twice a day, you're dehydrated. Okay. Now, obviously for you guys, you're going to have to walk a fine line because you can't just go to the bathroom especially in a longer event or, a couple athletes are going up in a row. So you're going to have to, play around with that a little bit. But a good indicator is anywhere from 2 to 3 liters in a day, which again is around 100 ounces. I think that's a good starting point.
Okay.
Now, again, if you're a full grown adult male, 6'2", not quite you, not you either, I guess, but.
Why are full-grown males all 6'2"? I'm pretty sure the average height for male in the U.S. is 5'8", and I'm 5'10". I'd like to remind you.
I mean,
let me rephrase that. adult male, a lot of lean muscle mass on you. You're going to require a lot more fluid.
Yeah, how about thick, sexy, strongest photographer looking types of...
Big boned. Yeah.
Something like that.
But regardless, your fluid requirements going to be a little bit different than a smaller kind of, So it all comes down to the individual. But I would say, again, for you, another thing that you worked on too is like traveling too. Like you're flying all the time, right? And I guess I'm getting ahead of myself because another thing I wanted to talk about too is being flexible and being okay with being, your surroundings essentially, right? But let's go back to the hydration. I would say good starting point, 2-3 liters, maybe 100 ounces. Getting hands-free options, like I said, like the Camelback or something on there throughout the day. And again, I would say look at the forecast. Okay, if you're outdoors, humidity is so tough on hydration. You're sweating a lot. The sun versus overcast, and just kind of planning ahead and realizing what you're going to be into as far as elements go.
At what % of humidity does it start getting to like where you need to be mindful?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Thank you.
Again, Tim, that is a very good one. Don't know the specifics on that, but I would say like just in general, if you get out of the car and you can already feel the moisture in the air and you're almost sweating before you do anything, that's a day to be like, wow, okay, I need to be able to make sure I have a lot of fluids on.
Okay. So you can almost get like a little bit of a taste for it or whatever whenever you like step outside when you're either if you're walking to the venue or you land and you can kind of like walk outside and you get a little bit of a gauge there.
Yeah.
So hydration obviously comes in the main form of water. At what point do you make additions to that, whether it be certain like electrolytes like you were alluding to earlier, salts, like all? For us, when should we look at adding those? Is it like a certain whenever we're not reaching the correct amount of urine, or what? How would we look at
like
that?
how much? Like what's a good baseline? I guess I'm curious to know. Like 100 liters of water. That's for the day.
100 ounces.
100 ounces. Sorry, 3 liters.
Yeah.
100 ounces of water. Like what? Because that's a big thing in this space. Period. CrossFitting. I mean, I know I have probably 2 grams of salt in an electrolyte supplement just on a regular training day.
Yeah.
Like what? I guess I'm with JT on that. Like what's a good balance with that 100 ounces of water, like throughout the day?
I would say, I mean, it's going to depend so much on the environment, but I would say trying to get that in maybe one of your, like, let's say like you have a water bottle, okay? A 1 liter water bottle. I would say drink the first one, pure water in the morning before you even start.
Okay.
Second one, have that one as water. Your third one now, it's electrolytes in there.
Okay.
So starting to get like maybe a third of your way through the day and you're like, wow, I'm sweating so hot.
Got it.
Okay.
Also, each individual athlete has different amount of like sodium they sweat out.
For
like
sure.
For instance, if you have like sweaty, like really white stains, that's a good indicator of your heavy salt losing person. So in that case, maybe doubling up your supplement later in the day. But I just feel like good old-fashioned water gets overlooked so much. But it's starting off with your day with 1 or 2 big jugs of water, and then by the second and third one, not only is it going to encourage you to drink more throughout the day, but it also kind of mixes it up because you don't want to be just drinking plain water all day every day. So doing your electrolyte supplement maybe on your second or third water bottle of the day is a good place to start, and then judging it from there. Okay. Now thirst isn't always the best indicator because it's like usually a sign of you being dehydrated too late.
It's like reactive.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right. So again, if you like in the afternoon day, it's 2-3 in the afternoon, you still got a couple more events to shoot and you go to the bathroom like, wow, this is dark yellow. This looks like apple juice. Okay. Well, maybe you do a little bit more electrolytes then as well and get to your second packet or your second dose of whatever you're taking on that day.
So we talked about like the pre, what about during the event? So you just alluded to a little bit there, you have your way of checking. Is there any other additional parameters you should look for while during? I mean, we're looking at weather, we're looking at the humidity considerations, we're looking at what your pee looks like. Is there anything else from a hydration standpoint we should also be aware of?
That would be, I think those are the main ones I think we would focus on. I can't think of anything else right now that would be a big indicator. I mean, other than like you constantly have to go into the bathroom and you're like, oh, wow, I'm overhydrated. There is such thing as being overhydrated, but I don't think that you guys have to worry about that because the massive amounts of you're going to be losing.
Okay, so then take me, now that the competition's over, I feel as though I'm hungover. Like I just like drank all weekend, even though I didn't sip a thing of alcohol.
The headache, bro.
Yeah.
The headache, everything, the body ache.
Some of that could be from caffeine withdrawals as well, especially if you are caffeine dosing pretty large throughout the day. And that's something that we didn't really talk about either. But like, that's going to be all subjective. Like, I'm not going to tell you to say, hey, go away from caffeine when I'm taking 400 milligrams in a day on an average day, right? But, 2 Celsius in a day, 400 milligrams is perfectly reasonable. But on days where you're like, maybe you're like on the second or third day, like you said, you're feeling hungover, you're doing 4 Celsius in a day, and your central nervous system is all like fried up and ready to go. And then afterwards, you're like, wow, like I need to just chill for a bit. And I think that could be from caffeine withdrawals, but also more or less like central nervous system burnout. You guys are constantly on it for 12, 14, 20 hours in a day almost when you're doing your editing and stuff behind the scenes. So honestly, it would be just like, hey, just chill, relax. And those would be the days to just like kind of reset, I guess.
Yeah. So how does that caffeine, and you kind of alluded to this right there, how does that caffeine affect your hydration?
Surprisingly, I think that is overblown a little bit.
Okay.
Because, a lot of the time you are drinking caffeine with obviously 500 to 300 milligrams of liquid.
Yeah, I mean, let's utilize this Celsius that's on the screen. So,
and there, I believe
355 milliliters.
Yeah, or 12 ounces.
12 ounces, yep.
Okay, yeah. And like that's just a kind of an extra bonus of fluid. I would take that towards my fluid intake as well. Like it's primarily I would say low in calories. If it was 5 to 10 calories.
10 calories, yeah.
10 calories, yeah. So it's again, I always consider that in my daily fluid intake. But the big thing that I have with energy drinks is when they start replacing fluids. You know what I mean? Like for instance, people who get full really easy and like, I'm going to drink a Celsius and then stop drinking water. That's when it becomes an issue. But like, wow, I'm like losing so much overall fluids because like I'm not thirsty or I'm full from this energy drink, then be like, okay, whoa. We need to make sure that if you're going to drink a caffeine or a Celsius, you got to make sure you're drinking water on top of that.
Got it.
Because then you can be dehydrated. Do not let the caffeine replace good old fashioned hydration.
Got it.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered hydration.
Yep.
I feel like we're good there. What is the next thing you want to cover as far as nutrition goes?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
You can refer to your notes.
Let me see who we got here.
Big note guy.
Yeah, big note guy. Okay.
Take your time. There's no pressure. If you want to review that for a little bit there, and then we can come back to you. The great thing is, Aaron, we have 3 cameras, so we can just pretend like none of this really happened.
I alluded to this earlier. A well-balanced meal before and after to start your day. Okay, so starting the day off with the best you can. So, for instance, if you're in a hotel, hotel breakfasts are what they are. Okay, I'm talking about getting some scrambled eggs, hard-boiled eggs, maybe a piece of toast and some carbohydrates, a healthy fats, and maybe in there if you can get an avocado or like something that's going to be a little bit sustaining and lasting because you're going to go with snacks throughout the day. And that's just how it is, basically. You're not going to be able to stop and get a full course meal or anything like that. So just trying to get a really good high protein meal in, some carbohydrates, some fat, some fruits and vegetables if you can for breakfast, huge win. Now, in Phoenix or if in your desert city, you got to get up a little early to do that, but prepare ahead of time, okay? Maybe make some egg bites for the road there or make a bagel and put it in your car or something like that. But be mindful of like, hey, the rest of the day, it's going to not be ideal, which is okay, but the first meal has to count. And like I said, the last meal has to count.
Got it.
Okay. So again, let's just say you're through your day, you're rushing around, you're editing late at night, it's 11 o'clock at night, and you're like, oh my God, I just want to get some, fast food or something like that. You got to plan ahead, okay? So in your case, meal prep the night before.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Get 3 or 4 pre-made meals ready to go in your fridge or freezer, and you're like, wow, I don't want to cook. I'm going to throw it in the microwave for a minute 30, and I have 500, 600 calories, 40 grams of protein, X amount of calories or carbs and fats, and you're good to go, okay? But like I said, you wouldn't go to McDonald's, Burger King, et cetera, fast food in the middle of a comp, right? You wouldn't, right? You just wouldn't,
right.
So that's where the mindset comes in, like, hey, I got to make sure I fuel myself. Now, that's not to say all fast foods off the table, okay? You can still get sweet greens, kava, like one of those bowl types of like, some kind of grain, lots of vegetables and a lean protein. Those are obviously, big wins, and you can gravitate towards those, okay? But again, first, last meal, they got to count.
For those individuals that are on the road, where they don't have control and they can't necessarily have a pre-made meal, maybe they're getting on a plane.
Yeah.
Is there certain snacks or certain things that they should be on the lookout, maybe whenever they do go to the grocery store, before their competition starts?
Good. Oh, God, I'm going to be sick of saying this. That's another good question. Very good question.
I'm really just asking for me. So like all these questions are probably going to be good questions because I'm genuinely like want to know these.
I'm sitting over here wondering how horribly I failed at Wadapalooza this. I'm like, nice, didn't do that. Nice.
Planning ahead, I think. Okay, so if you know you're going to be staying at a Hotel X in California, be like, hey, is there a healthy grocery store, any grocery store nearby? Another thing that my clients started doing was once they get there or beforehand, Googling meal services near me. Okay. And that's actually was huge. And, you know, I go through these meal services options online, like, hey, when we're looking for a meal prep service, look for this calories, you know, 400 or 500 calories, 40 plus grams of protein if you can, and carbs and fat, I'm not too worried about. But first of all, so you can definitely find a lot of meal prep services, especially if you're in a health conscious state or city, wherever you're at. California, usually pretty good for that part. Worst case scenario, you look for the closest Whole Foods or some kind of grocery store that's going to be able to get a fresh meal, okay? Obviously, you can definitely use a frozen meal if you needed to, but, you know, trying to stay on the outside of the grocery store. And that's where a lot of the prepared meals are, you know, like a chicken Caesar wrap or some kind of pasta dish with some lean protein or even like a sandwich with some lean deli meat in there. Trying to stick around the outside of the grocery store. And again, it may be a little bit of a hike, but you probably can look up a grocery store within a 5 to 10 minute ride or drive or a 5-minute walk, okay? And really stuffing your fridge, if you're lucky enough to have a fridge, that's another thing. Look at your hotel. Do we have an option to get a workout in? Do we have a microwave? Do we have a fridge? Ask for all these things as well. So I would say getting to a grocery store, stocking up on a really well-balanced meal. When you come through the door, you got to dedicate 15, 20 minutes of yourself, and you owe it to yourself to do that, to have a decently prepped meal or a healthy meal.
I think the continuing theme that I keep hearing from you is the idea, and I look at it from a creative standpoint, is like it's pre-production, right? It's pre-production, but it's pre-production for your nutrition. Yeah. So it's have a plan, do all the research of where you're going. It's the same thing that we do all the time for a video shoot or a photo shoot. Know where you're filming, know what's going to be available to you, you know your schedule. So you know when, so all of that stuff, like just take the time to do it. Yes. I mean, I'm my worst, what is it?
Enemy? Worst enemy?
Not worst enemy.
Worst critic?
No.
He ain't that.
Thanks.
We know that.
I am.
Yeah, I got to pump my tires. No, I think in a lot of cases, like I don't take my own advice. So like by me saying this out loud on camera, I'll be forced to like listen back to this and watch this again to make sure that I am. Yeah. For those individuals that, okay, let's say the outside of the grocery store, because they don't have the ability to preserve that food is available, is there any certain like go-to snacks that you would recommend or certain things they should look for in snacks?
Like in the middle of the aisles, the foods that's shelf stable? Or are you talking about?
Yeah, that would spoil, like the foods that wouldn't spoil, because let's say you're on the road and...
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So you're looking for like healthy snacks that are going to be shelf stable that you can carry with you.
That you can throw in, that I could throw in my camera bag when I'm at a competition.
Yeah, have it like on the floor ready to go if you need it. Eat it in 5 minutes to be ready for the next thing.
Okay. I would start with probably the biggest thing that you need to focus on throughout the day, protein intake. So being able to look at the nutritional facts and seeing how much grams of protein in it. Now, for instance, you know, again, bigger adult male, we're looking for 40, 50 grams of protein per meal or snack. If you can, settling for around that 30 grams of protein. Smaller adult female, at least getting 20 grams of protein for most of your snacks, okay? So Bear Bells are out there. That's a pretty good protein bar. That's about 20 grams of protein. Pre-packaged or pre-made protein shakes, the Fairlifes, the Nuris, those are all shelf stable. You can 100% bring those with you. 30 grams of protein, bang, you're ready to go. Pairing that up with a granola bar that has some healthy fats in it, like some, you know, the Nature Valleys, whatever, good combination, quick, easy as well. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but if you can try to get, 20, 30, 40 grams of protein in 2 or 3 times of those snacks, I think that's a good place to start. Another thing to look for, beef jerky, like the Chomps, something like that. One of those sticks can have 10 to 12 grams of protein, shelf stable. And I would say some things that don't have a lot of protein, but still good for healthy fats, good energy, trail mix, nuts, seeds, grabbing a handful of those is going to last you a little bit longer. Now,
is there certain like things to be aware of, like some like little like traps, whether it's like, hey, yes, this protein bar has 30 plus grams of protein, but Oh, wow. It also has like 60 grams of sugar.
So the big thing that I tell my clients to look out for is sugar alcohols. Okay. Now,
Okay.
Sugar alcohols can wreak havoc on people's guts. And, again, to your point, you guys are out, on the floor being busy. Last thing you want to be doing is run into the bathroom or getting cramps, bloating, and all that nasty stuff, GI stuff. Okay. Now, each person tolerates sugar alcohols differently.
Right.
Some people can have 5 to 10 grams of sugar alcohol, be fine.
Right.
But usually sugar alcohols are placed into bars for a replacement for calories to keep them low calories and high protein, because that's what everyone wants, right?
Yeah.
High protein, low calorie, right? So I would just be saying, hey, let's take a look at this nutrition facts on this, blank we have in front of us. Okay, protein's good. Okay, grams of sugar alcohols. Okay, let me see how my body reacts to this. In general, 5-6 grams of sugar alcohols is kind of where I'd max it out.
Okay.
Because after that, you can have those adverse gut reactions.
Yeah.
So that would be one. Now, another thing for you guys, I would say fiber content, that's tricky because fiber is obviously very good for us, okay?
Right.
But again, do you want to be going to the bathroom throughout the day? You know what I mean? That's tough. So some of these protein bars will be very high in fiber, okay? A Kirkland protein bar could have 20 to 25 grams of protein and almost 15 grams of fiber, okay? Which again, in a normal circumstance, 15 grams of fiber, heck yeah.
Yeah.
But for you guys, crushing 15, maybe 2 of those in a day, that's 30 grams of fiber. That could be a lot on your gut to handle. So I would be taking a look at sugar alcohols. Are they around 5 grams or less? And how much fiber does this have because of the bathroom situation?
What about like the ingredients? Is there certain ingredients you should be wary of? And again, I know it probably varies from person to person, so feel free to keep it generalized. But
Ingredients, I'm not too picky about, because if you go down that avenue or alley, you can really get sidetracked with a lot of information. Some of it good, some of it a lot of it misinformation.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Obviously, if you're just looking at the nutritional facts, if it has 30, 40 grams of sugar, then that's obviously a big one thing for me. But as far as like dyes go or additives, again, there's a bunch of like chemicals in a typical banana. So I wouldn't really necessarily stress too much about that. Now, if something is very important to you and you have the budgets and the means to do, I'm going to eat organic only, then go ahead and do so. You know what I mean? If that's your own prerogative and perspective, I support it, but I'm never going to tell my clients that you have to spend extra on organic and this and that if you don't truly have to.
Right.
So that's going to be personal preference.
yeah.
Sure.
Where do you want to take us next?
The last thing I have, the big 3 notes I have, and the last one is...
Are they big because the font's big, or are they big like...
They're big because they are highlighted in orange, okay? That is the big one right there, okay?
Why'd you choose orange, just out of curiosity?
Orange is my favorite. Orange and
Wait,
black.
what?
Orange and black is my favorite color
I never knew
combination
that.
because of the Philadelphia Flyers. They're orange and black.
You really had to say that last part, didn't you?
I did.
Why are you a Flyers fan? You're not even from Philly.
My favorite athlete growing up was Eric Lindros, and he played primarily his career in Philadelphia. And that's why I also have 88 as my favorite number. Love that. 88, fun
Okay,
fact,
all
the
right.
biggest number. Not number-wise, but surface area. I just love the idea of like, hey, this is the biggest number. I'm going to throw 2 of those on my back.
That's such a nerdy statistic.
Yeah,
But
surface
love
area,
it.
that's the biggest number we can give.
Can honestly say I've never heard anybody talk about the size of numbers.
Size of number.
Like the physical.
Yeah, looks intimidating on your back.
Yeah.
All right, last point I was going to say, never. It's more of a mindset one, so not specifics on this one, but it's not going to be perfect, and be ready to adapt. Okay, it's not going to be perfect, and be ready to adapt. Okay, so that means like if your heart is set on like chicken breast and broccoli and rice, love it. Okay, and if you're going to like American Airlines Air Lounge and they don't have that, you're like, okay, so I'm going to have to pivot a little bit. I'm going to get this, vegetarian option with tofu or something, maybe it's kind of different vegetable and whatever. Okay. So again, it's not going to be perfect. Give yourself a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
Now there's a fine line between, being able to adapt and saying F it and going hard. Okay. And that's what the fine line that you have to walk.
Sure.
Yeah. The worst thing I say to my clients is say, throw your hands up in the air and say, F it, I couldn't do anything. It's like, okay, maybe you couldn't, but maybe let's play it back. What could you have changed differently? You know what I mean? Instead of going out for, 12-piece McNugget meal and a full Coke, why don't we switch it up to Chick-fil-A grilled nuggets and a grilled sandwich and a Diet Coke or something like that, right? So be flexible and don't give up after it's going to hit the wall. Just plan. And okay, another example, even if it does go completely off the wall, don't give up for the weekend. The next meal is a new time to reset. Okay, just like an athlete or you guys, if you have a bad day of it behind the camera, you're like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. Move on to the next day. Same with healthy eating. The one bad meal, one bad day does not have to be the end of your week or your diet or anything like that.
Boom, clip it, Sam. That was good.
That was good.
He's so enthused.
What?
When I sometimes when I text Chris in the morning, he'll just.
That's when you know you
he'll
shouldn't
just
be
give me,
texting
like,
me.
He'll just give me like a one-word answer. He's like, yeah.
Does he give you the dad?
I'm like, hey, don't sound so excited, bro.
He'll text me at like 6:30 in the morning, and I wake up at like 8:30.
So this is where the
So
whole
I'm responding at
I am a
8:30.
morning person, and he is not.
And I'm not.
Okay, good question. Numbers of hours of sleep each night.
Not enough.
What is-
At a competition?
Yeah. No, just in general.
Oh.
What do you aim for each night?
I mean,
I don't aim for any number.
I wouldn't say I aim for any number.
Really?
I'm usually like proud of myself if I get 7.
What about you?
Well, recently, I haven't been sleeping very much. I wouldn't say I necessarily go for a number, but I do try to go to sleep by like 10 o'clock.
What time do you normally get up?
Like 5-ish. The problem is I would say I am more disciplined on the idea of going to I am going to go to bed to go to sleep at a certain time. But there are certain times where I just wake up at like 3 a.m. I'm like, I can't go back to bed.
That's tough. There's not much you can do about that. But I would say this is like for you guys specifically.
Should we turn off the cameras?
No. This is good advice for
How
everyone.
specific are we getting?
But when I do a nutrition assessment, I'll make sure I touch on physical activity and exercise, which you guys are doing, and sleep. Okay, because if you want to take your training and performance to the next level and whatever that may be, you have to prioritize your sleep, because sleep studies come out in the professional NBA, NHL, whatever, and they are having like a whole division dedicated to sleep, right? Yeah. And same thing, like, you got to treat your body with respect. I like to use this as an example of saying, hey, we used to think 8 hours was the gold standard. No, that's the bare minimum. 8 hours plus if you can get it.
I'm cooked.
Yeah, if
I'm
you can
cooked,
get
Sam.
it. Because like you think you're training like an hour and a half, 2 hours in a day, and like you're going to work, you're carrying these big heavy equipment. Like you need 8+ hours, which sounds daunting, but I say start with 20 minutes. Start with adding an extra 20 minutes in each night, okay? And you say, okay, I've been getting this extra 20 minutes and feeling a little bit better. Then add another 20 minutes. You don't have to get from 5 hours to 9 hours overnight. That's too big of a chunk. Just chip away at it. But in theory, you should be working hard to get that 8+, because your body needs time to rest, recover the next day. You can't have success if you're not trying to look at the whole picture.
No,
Yeah, during competition, in a work weekend, I mean, dude, what? We're like, I'm happy if I get 5.5.
That's
Yeah.
different because you guys are working hard all throughout the night, right? And that's
Yeah.
like one of those things you're like, okay, maybe not. But during the week leading up to that, or like
Maybe get a little more.
Yes.
Try to. Okay.
being proactive, and especially if you are competing in the event, because both you guys compete too. Like, I know your adrenaline's probably running and you're probably replaying a lot of the workouts, but like getting 8+, those nights are for sure a huge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sleep for sure. Again, you're working hard, but like luckily you don't have, well, not yet anyways, you have a screaming baby keeping you up at night or anything like that. So there's like a lot of like,
I do have a dog.
yeah, dog.
I have 2 dogs.
Yeah, dogs. So that's going to happen. But at the same time, you can still at least start blocking off 8+ hours before you go to bed. That's time management right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was great.
Thank you.
Was.
I feel like this gave us like a lot to think about, but also, the importance of certain things that I think we overlook because we're so focused on other things that we're not focused on ourselves, and we forget that taking care of ourselves will allow us to create a better product.
Yes. Making yourself a priority.
Yeah.
Well said, JT.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, good questions. Well said. We'll see you in the next one.
Maybe. Thanks, Sam.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Capture the Reps podcast. If you're a fitness creative and you found this episode helpful, please share this with a fellow creative and keep creating, keep learning, and keep capturing those reps. We'll see you next time.